Rolling.
Oh, yeah. Our pre-roll today is Tommy John. If you're struggling to stuff your baggy old boxers into your pants, it's time to upgrade to Tommy John's Second Skin Boxer Briefs. You have to feel them to believe them. They're just so soft and comfortable. Shop Tommy John's friend and family sale right now. Get 25% off site-wide at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. Save 25% again for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. TommyJohn.com/JRVP. See site for details. Only one pre-roll means Anthony can get home faster, but not before we talk about 60,000 monsters in the bedroom, killing your dog, and Anthony's right-wing fans, all coming up in episode 246 of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project. JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
You started by saying you'd do anything, but what I'm hearing is you think you've done everything.
Everything's a little funky today because we're separated. Anthony misses me, but I'm home. I'm taping this from home. You can check it out on YouTube, the home studio. Anthony in the studio, looking funky fresh.
Yeah, my whole plan was I'm going to be in a better mood this week. I'm going to do what I can. And then I got here and I was like, you know what? Nope. I'm going to be a little better. What have I been doing this week? Fucking nothing. I've been fighting off a cold. You can probably hear it in my voice. I've been reading on the couch with my dog. That is all I've wanted to do. Aaron's walking in here right now, doing something. I don't know what it is. Okay. All right, you're going to line up my eye line? Okay. I almost said something before, and then I was like, I don't give a shit if it's going to make the podcast longer. I'm just waiting for my Netflix as a joke show on Friday. I can't do stand-up in town while Netflix is going on because it's all Netflix shit, and I want nothing to do with it. But I will do that set Friday, and then I have a few more tour dates. About to announce some Australian dates, some other tour dates around the world before we get to Europe in September. And I would be okay if it all got canceled. I would be okay if I didn't have to do anything ever again. I'll switch jobs with Aaron if that's what it takes. Aaron, what's my quote from this week? Aaron's running back in. Aaron, what's my quote from?
It's like you've never done this before.
It sounds like Tarantino. But
You started by saying you'd do anything. But what I'm hearing is you think you've done everything.
Is it Wrath of Man?
It's Wrath of Man, Aaron. It's Wrath of Man.
Well, I give it a compliment by saying it sounds like Tarantino.
Tarantino wishes he could pen something as good as Wrath of Man. How many words do you think were in the movie Wrath of Man total, Aaron?
Probably 300.
You know what? The over-under, that's pretty good. I would say under on that. H, like the bomb. Or Jesus H, Christ. Doesn't make any sense. Why are you doing it? Gregg and I wanted to talk. We wanted to talk last week about this, and we forgot to talk about it. The Drake, Kendrick Lamar rap battle from hell. I wanted to talk to Gregg about it, but Gregg don't know nothing about that. You don't know nothing about that. I wanted to talk to Aaron about it, but you don't know nothing about that.
That's true. I really don't.
Gregg doesn't even get the reference I'm making right now.
I get the reference. I'm just
you don't know nothing
cringing
about that.
at you, mangling it.
You don't know nothing about that.
Taking like such a cool song, such a catchy song. I mean, it's got to be the catchiest diss track since Cannabis's second round KO, and then making it sound, somehow less cool. But I do like that, especially in LA. Like some guy had it as his walk-up music as the Dodgers game. The USC football team had it playing. Like it's the LA anthem right now. Team Kendrick.
I wish that you could be the arbiter of cool and tell me what is and is not cool, but you don't know nothing about that. I don't know if I'm doing it right. Listen, I hate Drake. I hate Drake. Always have, always will. Drake is corny. I hate corny. Anyone who's ever dissed Drake, I've been on their side. I loved Pusha T, Story of Adidon, was my North Star for a year. But Kendrick coming out like this with just so many swings, having records in the can just waiting. And the fact that this has ended, as of Tuesday, this has ended with Drake putting out like a total piece of shit, like weak ass one, and Kendrick just letting it sit there, which I think is perfect. The perfect way to win a rap battle is let them put out some bullshit and then just chill. I'm here for it. I love it. What do you think, Greg? Your team Drake, I assume?
No, you weren't convinced by Drake's last one that was like, I'm really not into young women. Like if that is is that your thing? In like, oh, I planted this story about the second daughter that you rapped about. Okay, so wait, the logic is you planted a story so that my rival would rap about a second daughter that doesn't exist so that I could come back and be like, no, actually the daughter doesn't exist. Like
The fact
that's
checking
next
is very
level.
funny. Also, saying I knew you'd come at me with some underage girl stuff is very funny. To be like, I knew that's what you were gonna do. Oh, you did? How did you know that? How did you know, Drake? I love it. Team Kendrick. I hope Drake never puts out another song again. I hope he goes back to Degrassi. But you would know nothing about that, Greg. And I think I nail it. Okay, Aaron, play me a clip of me saying you don't know nothing about that. Ready? You know nothing about that. All right, now play Kendrick from the song doing it. Ready? 1, 2. You know nothing about that. It's identical.
Yeah.
It's identical. And if you think it's not, you don't know nothing about that.
This is the most LA you've ever sounded.
I feel LA. I'm wearing a Hollywood Stars hat. If you can see, if you can tell. Listen, I don't.
What are the Hollywood Stars?
They were a minor league baseball team a long time ago. I believe they are not still around. But I've always wanted a hat, and I finally found one in my size. Listen, I don't feel good. I'm still downshifting from the tour. I do not feel good. I am not fun to be around. I am trying to get out of it. We'll see what happens. And now it's
So-
what else did you do this week, Greg? What else did you do this week on this lightning fast episode of? Did you watch the roast? Did you watch the Tom Brady roast?
Yeah, I was curious for your opinion on it. I watched most of it. Yeah. How could I not? Brady, Belichick. It was fun as a Patriots fan seeing those two guys giving shit to each other and enjoying each other's company. That was cool. The jokes I thought for the most part were pretty killer. Like the Aaron Hernandez bits, like Brady's 9/11. I mean, it was fun. What did you think?
I did not watch it. I have not watched the roast since I appeared on a roast. But I hear, and I talk to people. I talk to people about it because I'm interested. I believe that Nikki Glazer had the set of the night. That's that's incontrovertible. I hear Sam J did great. I heard Tony Hinchcliffe had a great set. The Jeff Ross thing fascinated me because the clip I saw from the roast is Jeff Ross making a joke about a massage, and then Tom Brady walking over to him and saying, "Don't say that shit again," which is a very Jeff Ross thing to do. Because in the old roasts on Comedy Central, they were edited. And I believe, I think people probably tuned into this Netflix one because it was unedited and that made it dangerous, which I get. But a roast should not be 3 hours long. You should edit things down, take out the stuff that people were bad or someone was fumbling around. I'm okay with that. A 2-hour roast is still too long, 90 minutes. But Jeff Ross's thing was there were always rules you couldn't do on a roast. And Jeff Ross would almost always break them. He would just do it knowing that the joke would get edited out, but that and when the article, from Variety, who was live at the show, they would put that joke in of Jeff Ross got the biggest ooze of the night with this joke, even though it wouldn't appear on the show. Jeff's always looking for his moment. And I mean this in a total respect. I'm not calling him out. Jeff knows how to do roasts, and he looks for his moment, and that was it. Of being I know I'm not supposed to make fun of Kraft for the massage. I'm doing it anyway. And my worst nightmare would be Tom Brady walking up to me, whispering in my ear, knock that shit off on live television. Would be terrifying. But Jeff does his thing. I would not have done that. But I love that Jeff did it. It seemed like a fun time. Seemed like everyone had a good time. But yeah, Nick, good job, Nikki Glazer. You're the roast master. You can have it.
Good job, Bill Belichick. I mean, not the delivery wasn't amazing, but just how the jokes he did really went for it. And I heard, and we have friends that were involved in putting this show together or whatever, and got to see him. I would supposedly he was, very nervous backstage and everything. But the jokes went for it. They were, I just seeing Belichick do jokes was amazing. I did hear, I don't know if this was inside info, inside reporting, or just speculation, but that little bit of Brady going up to tell Ross might have been pre-planned in a way to like shut down everyone else from making those jokes because he was first up. That was like his fourth joke that he said. And so to stop everyone else from maybe doing that, because it didn't sound like much was off limits. I think Brady's kids were off limits. And other than that, like he was definitely wincing in a very real way when they were talking about like Giselle's karate, teacher becoming the father to Brady's kids.
Yeah, that's not fun to hear. I don't know why Brady did it. I don't know why Brady put himself through that. What did he gain? What does he have today that he did not have 2 days ago? I don't understand. He was a good sport. He went for it, but I do not understand. And
he was good. I thought he would suck with telling the jokes, and he was pretty good. I do have one other thing I thought you would find interesting from this week. I know you want this to be quick.
I would say no part of me wishes I had been at that roast. There was zero part of me that was like felt like I was missing out. God, what were you gonna say?
Me too. My friend Brendan was in town this week from high school. You don't know him, and he had a couple friends that were in town for the Netflix festival. One of them was a professor at UNC, and she teaches an American Studies course focused on stand-up comedy, and she knew about JRVP. And I met her, we got coffee and everything. And I found out she teaches Anthony Jeselnik. That actually you're part of like the very first lesson or class of the semester. I don't exactly know what it is. It's like ethics and morals. Like she's a fan. She likes you. And somehow it's connected to you and Freud. I don't even know. But she says she puts you in the first class almost as a test to get as many people as possible to drop out of the class because some people just can't kind of handle it. So I thought that was fun.
I love it. I mean, listen, if you like to get people out of your class by showing them me, get them out. Your degree is worthless unless you can sit through all 5 hours of my stand-up. And now it's time for, did we get any notes? Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Yeah, we got some notes. I know Gregg has something he wants to talk about. I would like to address something up top. Listen, I just want to apologize to everyone. I know I haven't been feeling great lately. It's been a lot, but that's no excuse. For last week, I forgot to ask the audience of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project, JRVP,
Junior Vice President,
episode 245, what kind of mood they wanted me to be in. You know I do this podcast for the fans, for the listeners, and it's really important to me that you guys like what kind of mood I'm in when I come in here to fucking do whatever the fuck this is. 245 fucking times. I blame Aaron. Usually Aaron tells me, hey, Anthony, the fans this week want you to be happy. This week the fans want you to be a little goofy. Hey, this week the fans want you to be a little irritable. And Aaron forgot to do that last week.
Sorry, guys.
You don't know nothing about that.
I don't.
You know nothing about that. I nail it.
What, they didn't like your mood? They didn't like your mood?
They said it was too much. A little angry Anthony sometimes is okay. Anthony angry 2 main weeks in a row, they're going to cry about that. And you know what? You know what I said last week? I said no one listens to this podcast. That's not what I meant. We're like Mad Men. I've said this before. We don't get the numbers. We're not Big Bang Theory numbers, but Mercedes is advertising with us because they know we've got a higher class of audience. When I say no one listens to the podcast, I mean our numbers aren't big, but our listeners are big. And I let you down by not finding out in advance how you wanted me to behave on my own fucking podcast. Suck my fucking dick. Gregg, did you have anything this week? Any notes?
A couple of things are in mind, but you just reminded me of another email actually that someone noted that only you talk to Aaron, that I never speak to Aaron directly. And now it's in my head. And I thought that's an interesting, thought. Maybe Anthony doesn't like allow me to speak to Aaron.
I mean,
that.
you're free to talk to Aaron, but Aaron will not answer you. Aaron won't say. You can say anything you want. You can ask him a question right now.
Aaron, what are you doing this week? You got any baseball games?
You got any baseball games? Get the fuck out. Yeah, Aaron's looking at me and he's doing like the cuckoo finger around the ear. Like, what the fuck is this?
Aaron,
this
how come I can't really hear
for?
the sounds, the songs? They kind of come in and out. It's not really working with me at home.
Aaron talks to two people. That's me and Billy. And Billy's on the outs. It might just be me. I'm in the studio.
Occasionally I just like reading a note from a fan, and so I'm going to do it. And this, I think, will cheer you up, Anthony. You seem kind of grouchy. This is from Bridget, and I just thought I'd read it aloud. I've been a fan of the pod since the beginning. You inspired me to finally get treatment for my bipolar 1 disorder and go back to college. I graduate with my Associates of Liberal Arts in 2 weeks and start for my Bachelor's of English this fall. Thank you for everything, Bridget. JRVP is the soldier of podcasting. I just thought that was nice. So I'm reading it there to just.
That is nice. Mental health is important. We help our people. When I say we don't have a big number, we've got a great number. I'm talking about people like that who deal with the struggle of mental health, bipolar disorder. Get that degree. Read those books. You're with us. We like it. And that was, did we get any notes? Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? And now it's time for
Ad copy.
Thank you, Aaron.
You want to know a simple life hack to feeling better every single day, Anthony?
What?
Upgrade to Tommy John's premium second skin underwear. So soft and light once they're on, they feel like they're gone. They're that comfortable. Anthony doesn't even need to upgrade. He's the type of guy who wants the best of everything. His underwear has been Tommy John's for years. Before every show, I inspect it. Make sure that he's wearing the Tommy John's. He never skimps on his base layer. He goes with Tommy John's second skin underwear, and he feels luxurious.
Here's how I know Tommy John's the best. I've got 2 pairs of a different kind of underwear. I was on the road and I had to go pick some up last minute, and they just kept staying in my mix. That when I'm done with my laundry, when all the laundry's like in the dirty hamper, and I reach into that underwear drawer and I grab the non-Tommy John's pair, I'm pissed. I'm pissed all day. I'd rather not wear underwear than wear something that's not Tommy John. Tommy John is what I wear. You think that I would just wear it because it's fun? No, I wear it because it's the best.
Mm-hmm.
I work with Aaron because he's the best. I work with Gregg because he know nothing about that. You know you should get the best underwear that's available, but you don't know nothing about that. You should wear the most comfortable underwear that exists, but you don't know nothing about that.
When you wear Tommy John, you're much more comfortable, so you can do everything better. It's stylish and soft second skin underwear has dozens of comfort innovations, like a supportive contour pouch, breathable, lightweight, moisture-wicking fabric with 4 times the stretch of competing brands. It doesn't matter if you're a lefty or a righty with Tommy John's horizontal quick draw fly for unparalleled unfurling action. I need to unfurl that thing. With over 20 million pairs sold, thousands of 5-star reviews, guys everywhere love their Tommy John's. Your most valuable assets are always covered with Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear, or its free guarantee. Shop Tommy John's friends and family sale. That's us. That's you guys right now. Friends and family, 25% off site-wide at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. Save 25% for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. TommyJohn.com/JRVP. See site for details.
And that was
Ad copy.
Aaron, do we have new music this week?
I did not get the new music in there.
You can get it in there? Oh, but you have it.
Yeah.
So you would say that you have the music.
I would say I have it. Yeah.
But you don't know nothing about that.
It's true.
You know what, Aaron? But you do have it keyed up to Kendrick Lamar saying that line, right?
Yeah.
All right, play that for me.
Okay.
You know nothing about that.
Yep.
Play it like 3 times in a row, real fast.
Okay.
You know nothing about that. You know nothing about that. You know nothing about that. And now it's time for Email Corner.
Email corner. Emails are a thing. Email corner. It's email corner.
Guys, emails, they are a thing. It doesn't matter what kind of mood I'm in or what you know about that. Emails, they're a thing. But you know nothing about that. We like to let people write in a bunch of emails. I'm trying to shorten this fucking segment down. I'm trying to get it down to like 2, 1. Ideally, we would read half an email and then I would cut you off. And we'd move on to something else. And we're just end the podcast right there. Forever. Series finale. But Gregg likes to give me a bunch of them. I try to cut out as many as I can. And now we're left with 3. So Gregg, what are our 3 emails this week?
There's so many good ones. But we're going to start with one asking you, Anthony, about a video from a man named Matthew Knowles. It popped up in one of our readers' YouTubes where he's reacting to jokes Anthony did. He enjoys what he's seen, which, you know, no one can blame him because you're hilarious. This is from the email. But he seems to think Anthony is a right-wing loon like himself. Even the comment section filled with fans commenting how hilarious Anthony is. Is Anthony aware that he's sometimes popular in right-wing circles? And do you think this is a similar situation where people don't realize Stephen Colbert was playing a character? I did watch this video. I am not going to play this dude on our show. It just seems ridiculous. But it's just him literally watching you do comedy for 2 minutes and then being like, this guy's hilarious. See what he's doing? Taking out the woke mob?
Yeah, he's a fucking loser. Look, I got a lot of... I would say my fan base is probably more conservative than liberal, and that's fine. Anyone who buys a ticket to come see me or supports me in any way, like, we're cool. And again, I've been on record. If you are conservative, if you're Republican, if you know, whatever your political beliefs, like, that's fine. If you're wearing the fucking MAGA hat, you're a fucking loser. When you make it your personality, I could not be less on board. And when Trump got elected, I felt like I was seeing myself on lists of conservative comedians or people who would be on the side because the right was so starved for any sort of entertainment option. There was like, oh, well, you've got guys like Jeselnik. And I was like pissed. Like, I don't need to talk about my politics, but sometimes you want to be understood. And so I kind of put it out there a little more that I am a progressive human being. But I don't really talk about anything political in my stand-up. And so when these people try to embrace me, I just have to roll my eyes. Like, it's not worth being like, no, you fucking loser. But also, this guy is a loser. And I don't know who watches this shit who would know who this guy is. Like, who's like trying to figure out if I'm on his side. It's so stupid to me. And even the jokes they used. It would be like a joke about racism. And he'd be like, is he one of us? And I'm like, one of you? What the fuck does that mean? Like, it's like people who just want white people to be able to say the N-word again. That's their whole thing. That's their whole
like
fucking
your
thing.
joke about racism, and that's the first one that was on his video, which is a great joke. I think it was from Thoughts and Prayers. It does feel like it's not exactly like Stephen Colbert, the character I guess you're playing or the jokes you're saying, but he's definitely missing the joke. Because he really had sort of a takeaway of like, hey, those sorts of people, like, they are all the same. Like, he is on our side. Like, he's not getting the joke.
I think it's okay. I think it's okay to, if you're enjoying something, it's okay to like Stephen Colbert for whatever reason. You know, if you're laughing at the right parts or the wrong parts, like, I don't have a problem with that. If you want to listen to me and feel like I'm, you know, expunging your beliefs, like, great. But I'm happy to tell you no. And these people, these like internet conservatives who just rile up your grandparents can all fucking go kill themselves. They all fucking suck, especially whoever the fuck this guy was. I'm glad we didn't show the video. But yeah, I saw that a while ago. I hate him.
Our next email is from Jace. He says, I'm 23 years old. I currently work as a TV show editor, and he's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been doing it for 2 years. I've slowly lost passion for it this whole time. My mom told me there was an opportunity to teach 9th grade English. Sounds appealing, fulfilling to me as someone who's obsessed with literature. I'd be making more money than I make now. The summers off would allow me to be creative in the video space on my own time. I feel like I'm taking a big risk switching my career. I'm not sure how to navigate that. Any advice would help. He also saw you, by the way, in Tulsa and said you were great.
Do you want to take this first? I mean, I've got...
Yes. Like, first of all, you're 23 years old. Like, this is the time to take some risks. This is, you know, the time to change. You're so young. You can change your career multiple times more. But I think you already know the answer, Jace. Like, I got it tattooed here. It's something my buddy Chris would say. Heed the call. Like, inside, you know the answer. Heed the call. Like, you know already it's going to be more fulfilling to be a teacher, and just trust your instincts and do that. And I've had multiple friends who, including my friend Dave, who you know, Anthony, who switched careers to being a teacher after like 7 years of being an engineer, and gave up like a lucrative job to go be a teacher, to have a more fulfilling job. And he's a much happier person because of it. And he loves his job. He loves teaching kids. And I've seen a lot of friends do similar things where they gave up the job that they thought they wanted, that even had more money, for jobs that meant something. So I think you know, Jace, the right answer. Go do it.
I mean, I second everything Gregg said. You're 23. It's a higher paying job with summers off. It's a no-brainer. You can go back to editing. You can edit on your own time. Go teach. Go teach literature. Maybe you hate it and you move on. But I think if you have even the bug at all at 23, like, get the fuck out of there. You can always go back. I say heed the call. I second it.
As someone who works in video production, I don't understand how he's making so little as an editor.
You're talking to me, right? Not Gregg?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, Aaron.
It's
Plus,
Tulsa
all
showbiz,
teachers,
I guess.
at least every teacher of my kids so far that I've met, to me, they're badasses. They're doing the most important work out there. All right, our last one is from Chesterton, India. If you guys were sent to finish off some mobster crook, Anthony, what would your Italian mafia badass line be right before pulling the trigger?
Like, I'm about to go kill someone. I'm a hitman. I walk up to go kill them, and it's like you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight kind of thing? It's like, what do I say right before I shoot them?
Yeah, I mean, he seems to be emphasizing like the Italian part of it. I don't know why, because his example was comically Italian, like, "Aye, Richie, Mr. Falieri," and then
Yeah,
and
he
it
really
goes on.
thinks
But,
that only
yeah, that
Italians
was the
kill
setup.
people. Aaron, what would you say if you had to kill someone? What would your last line be?
Bones and all.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Gregg, do you know what you would do if you had to go? If you had to kill someone, last thing you say before you pull the trigger, and this is like your thing. This is like what follows you around. Like, this is your reputation. Do you know what you would
Well, I
say?
was just jumping off of Aaron's answer because I do listen to him, and I would just say like thoughts and prayers, bitch.
It's not bad. I would love to. I would like, this would be my thing. That it would be the last words you'd hear, and you'd know you were getting jazzed. You would just hear, "Go fuck your mother in hell, you piece of shit loser." And that would be my. Whenever you heard that, you knew that it was about to be over. That would be your worst. That would be your worst fear. Go fuck your mother in hell, you piece of shit loser.
Wait, did we ever? Was there ever a joke or a saying where for a while we were just saying, "Go fuck your mother's whore," for a while, or is that someone else?
Go fuck your mother's whore.
Because it really made no sense, but I just remember a part of my life that me and my friends, or maybe it was just me, just would always say, "Go fuck your mother's whore." I don't know. Someone said it at one point, and it just became a catchphrase. So that could be a good catchphrase too.
I had a Italian friend, his parents were like off the boat Italian, and he once yelled out "Alla faccia di mamma" in school, and the substitute teacher who spoke Italian knew that meant "Go fuck your mother," and it was a bad day. It was a bad day in school, but you know what, Gregg? You know nothing about that. Now, let's get the headlines.
Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines.
You know, I wish comedy was a little bit more like hip hop. I wish people came for each other more than they do in stand up. And I feel like if it is, it's usually me. It's usually me like talking wild shit in a podcast or something. But I wish like people just went for the crown at all times. I think it would be way more fun. I think it would, instead of like just like doing everything you can to get Joe Rogan's dick into your mouth, if you just attacked him. If you just attacked him all the time. Like, I think it's better for the art form. I don't think it's got to get personal. I just think comedy would be more fun if it was more like hip hop, and there were more disses and more, braggadocio. I want every comic to having bits about how they're the best comic of all fucking time and everybody else sucks. I think that would be
Yeah,
fun.
that's because you would be the best. You would be the king. People, you would be waiting for. You would be like Kendrick, who seems like he was just waiting for the moment for Drake to fucking say something. He hated this dude. He hated his whole existence for years. And the second he heard one thing, like he was ready. You would love doing diss tracks. I guess that's what roast would be, except you'd be roasting the other comedians even more.
Like if I just did an hour, my next hour was just me calling out comedians by name and then breaking them down for why they suck. I think would be so fucking funny. I think it would be so funny to do. But like, I don't know. I don't know how long people would want to sit and watch that. Like if you sat down to see me in a theater and you spent a bunch of money and you're like, God, he's really going off on like fucking like Taylor Tomlinson. You'd be like, "What? This is? How did he get this all the way down to Taylor Tomlinson?" Let's get to headlines.
Our first headline is from North Carolina. It's about a 3-year-old who kept complaining to her parents about monsters in her bedroom. The parents had just showed her the movie Monsters Inc., so they thought she just had an active imagination. They gave her a water bottle and said it was, quote, monster spray. That spray didn't do shit as the little girl grew more panicked in the coming weeks, insisting she heard something in her closet every night, and they eventually found 60,000 bees clustering right inside her closet wall.
This seems like bad parenting. You know that you would not that it would take you months to discover 60,000 bees in your daughter's closet. Also, aren't kids soft today? When I was a kid, I got stung every night. I got woke up in the middle of the night by bee stings every night, and I didn't say shit. I was just happy to have the room. I was happy for the free honey. I didn't go bitching to mom and dad about how many bees were in there. Who counted the bees? Although that's bad.
Right,
It is bad parenting.
I'm with you. Back then, it's like you get stung overnight. Your parents just put up a piece of paper that says body count, because you know who doesn't survive those things? The bees. You won, kid. You don't need to complain. But it was like, go ahead.
I was say, what am I? Macaulay Culkin and My Girl? Get the fuck out of here. He doesn't need his glasses anymore. He's fucking dead.
It did sound pretty scary because it was like inside the walls. So that's why they didn't see it. But it was like making all this sound, all these bees. And then when they finally did open it up, they just came pouring out like a horror movie. There was 100 pounds of honeycomb in there. They had been building this fucking thing for like 8 months. And it ended up costing them $20,000. Insurance said, like, that's your fault. You fucked this up by not treating it sooner.
Yeah, did they just move in? Because then it's a realtor's fault. But if you've got 60,000 bees chilling in your closet, like you gotta figure that shit out. You gotta get it together. All right, bees, you know nothing about that. Greg, was that me or Kendrick?
Kendrick.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know if you've been tracking this story, Anthony. We're going to do a truly national story. A South Dakota governor, Kristi Noem, was one of the favorites, supposedly, to be Donald Trump's vice president pick, largely because she kind of looks like his wife. Pretty good looking. And she's been in hot water the last couple of weeks for stories in her upcoming book. It's not even out yet, where she discusses killing her hunting dog, also meeting North Korea dictator Kim Jong-un. And after getting criticism about the dog, she defended it. And she also added that she killed 3 horses a few weeks ago.
I love it. I love a unforced error. She just had to write a book that said, I want to be vice president. That was her goal of the book. And then she just put in a chapter about shooting a puppy, about killing a fucking puppy. I think it was less than a year old, or like a little over a year old. Under 2 years is still a puppy. It killed some chickens. It wasn't a great hunting dog. And instead of like being like, I gave the dog away, or I took it to the shelter, or I did any of the things you could have done, she says, I took it out in the middle of the day and shot it in front of an audience. Is wild that you would think people would be like, fuck yeah, get in the White House, you crazy bitch. Like if this had come up as been like, hey, she lives in North Dakota, we're her neighbors, she shot a dog once, I'd be like, tell me the story. Tell me why you shot a dog. I can see a reason for this. But to be in the book bragging is so funny. I can't imagine the people in North Dakota give a fuck, but I don't know if she's going to be vice president. And with Trump, you can't apologize ever because he thinks it's weak. You've got to double down. She's got to be like, I shot the dog and he suffered. I shot him a bunch of times. I shot horses too. I shoot every animal that I can get my hands on because I'm a fucking crazy governor. And you know nothing about that.
Yeah, she said people, I guess the point of the story, I was trying to figure out like why would it be in there, that people are looking for leaders who are authentic, willing to learn from the past, and don't shy away from tough challenges. She also noted that South Dakota law states that dogs who attack and kill livestock, which I guess this dog did, can be put down. So she was trying to say it's legal, and she was, I guess, trying to say, I did this difficult thing a long time ago. I have some regrets about it, but I wanted to be honest. I don't really know what the purpose was, but you also did not have to tell the people when they bugged you about it. Actually, I also just killed some horses.
You botched the storytelling. If it's a story about making a difficult decision, you know, even though it was cold-blooded, you had to do it. Okay, you can tell it differently. It sounds like you were just annoyed with the puppy and dragged it off and shot it, and then bragged to all your friends. And that. You sound crazy. You sound nuts. Have we all shot dogs? Yes. But you leave it out of the book. It's not for the book. It's for the movie.
Yeah, be like everyone else who's shot a dog and just be quiet about it. I did find the Kim Jong-un part funny too. Just that she was on these shows and they were like, we've heard that your publisher is now taking out the paragraph where you talked about meeting Kim Jong-un and looking him in the eyes, and he's not used to politicians who like stare down authority, and they've taken that out. Like, did you completely make up that story? And she just said, I'm not commenting on that, but it's no longer in the book. They alerted me to that. It's no longer in the book. Like, she just made up a whole story about meeting Kim Jong-un.
I mean, you make up as many lies as you want in the book. You're the governor of North Dakota. Who's reading your fucking book? Why would you read that book? How much do you love North Dakota or governors that you want to pick up that book? You know how you become the governor of North Dakota? You just hang out. You just hang out, and like chances are you're gonna be governor one day. It's not that hard. Just don't get too attached to your puppy.
All right, sexsomnia is taking the nation by storm. Let's talk about it. Sexsomnia is an embarrassing sleep disorder that is like sleepwalking, except sexier. Some examples include tearing off your clothes and masturbating in the middle of the night without remembering it, trying to force your partner to have sex with you in the middle of the night but not being, conscious of it, and masturbating so much while you sleep that you injure your groin.
Listen, we've all been there. We've all masturbated so much that we injured ourselves and then woke up with no recollection of any of that happening. I think of this as like you hook up with someone. This is like a very college thing. Is you hook up, you make out, you fall asleep, but then while you're sleeping, you keep on like grinding. You know what I mean? You're just like you're dead asleep, but you can't help but like thrust, and then the girl's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, get out. I can't sleep in the same bed with you. Get out. It's fine, but it's like that's what I think of sexsomnia as. The tearing off your clothes, the like demanding sex from a partner is wild. But this has been around for a long, long time. I mean, Greg, that's how you met your wife, right?
Right. You meet someone that's kind of down with that, and then they're the one. So sometimes though the women, it goes the other way around. Like the women fondle the men in sleep.
Yeah, it's not.
And then the men are like
male thing or female
sweet.
thing. It's both. Both of them are. Yeah, both people can do this and not remember anything.
But like sometimes it's complicated. Like the woman starts fondling the men in their sleep. She's the one experience sexsomnia. But then the man's like, okay, sweet, I guess, or just wakes up and they start having sex. And then the woman suddenly comes to, and she's like having sex in the middle of the night, and it feels very wrong. And they estimated, I don't know what's going on in Norway, but they estimated 3% of Norwegians have sexomnia, which seems like a wildly high number to me.
I'll tell you what, 3% of Norwegians need to keep their fucking mouth shut. Don't say anything. The bedroom is a sacred place. You know nothing about that.
I have audio of someone having sexomnia. Classic.
Aaron, do you play that in any other podcasts? Or is it just this one?
I wish.
Last
Get
hit.
to our last headline here. A scandal of epic proportions has rocked Thailand this week, where a prominent politician was caught in bed by her husband with her adopted son, who also happens to be a monk. Make it make sense, Jesseltron.
So, guy caught his wife in bed with their adopted son?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the adopted son happens to be a monk. Yeah.
Listen, monks fuck. Monks fuck. Monks will do it. They're like repressed, but they can get it done in a pinch. Adopted children, you can't do it. You can't do it. It's going to lead to things like this. I know, look, Aaron, you've got a regular baby. Gregg, you've got 2 regular babies.
I mean, yeah.
Listen, I got some regular babies in my family. No adopted babies, because that's when this shit goes down. If you got an adopted baby, you're not blood related, who knows what could happen. And if they're monks, I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. And for the record, you know nothing about that.
I think I'll speak. I'm not an adopted baby or haven't been adopted, but I want to speak for them. I think they're also regular children, regular people.
Not when they're monks. If they're good enough at being adopted to reach monk level, the sexual power is off the charts, and they're boning your wife. Your mistake was adopting a child. Everything after that was, in the line of duty.
Once I read the story and saw the ages, and it became a huge story apparently in Thailand because the husband caught it on video, like sees them naked, and he posted it on social media. And we actually have a picture, not of the video, but of the politician. Very good-looking, woman. And once I realized the ages of everything, it all started to make sense. The husband is 64. The politician, the woman, is 45. And the adopted son is 24. And they only adopted him last year.
Yeah. He's a sex slave. If you adopt someone and they're in their 20s and they're a monk, sex slave. Right, Aaron?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And now it's time for
Choo-choo.
recommendation station, Gregg.
All right, I'm going to recommend a book. I believe you recommended this like a year ago. I could be wrong. Biography of X.
Yes.
By Catherine Lacey.
Yeah,
You did, right?
One of my favorites of last year.
It was so good. It's definitely my favorite I've read in the last couple months since Martyr. I would say there's so much in this book, but like the first sentence is amazing and the last sentence is amazing. And it's a biography of a shape-shifting artist who's this character's widow, not a real artist, in this totally different counterfactual sort of United States where the South and the North were separated and then brought together. And it's just like a lot. The word audacious was on the cover, like a review, and that kept like ringing in my head as I'm reading this book because it is audacious. It has so much in it, but she's a really talented writer, and I really enjoyed it. And I was wondering how she was gonna stick the landing, and the ending is kind of horrifying in some ways and awesome. So Biography of X, Catherine Lacey, great writer. I would pick it up. It's in paperback. That's why I got it. Saw it in paperback, picked it up. Jesseltron did us well here.
Yeah, I love that book. You got to be a piece of shit to be a real star. But, nothing about that. My pick this week is a newer book. It's called Titanium Noir. I'm a big fan of crime noir, and this is a very new book. It's like a science fiction where they live in a world where there's a drug that kind of makes you into a superhuman. You know, it's like if you're getting sick or something, there's like a drug that's limited, but you get bigger, you're stronger, and you're practically immortal. And it follows a guy who investigates whenever one of them dies. Whenever one of them gets killed, he comes in to try to figure it out. And I thought it was a great book. That's Titanium Noir by Nick Harkaway. It was a great book. Aaron, you got anything you want to recommend this week?
Nope.
All right. So I guess Aaron, don't know nothing about that.
I don't.
Debbie, get me out of here.
Whoa, Nelly Furtado. That's a spicy meatball. Is that okay, Greggy?